Are you looking for the best walkie-talkies? In this video, we will look at some of the 5 best walkie-talkies on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description. So make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Number 1. Midland GXT1035R FLT. For such a small radio, the Midland GXT1035R FLT, $50, radios held surprisingly tough in our worst-case scenario range tests, and at just $50 for a pair, are a downright steal for anyone looking to snag a set on the cheap. Midland has chops as a brand, and while the larger GXT1000 was one of the higher performers in our testing, these little apples don't fall far from the tree. Easily fitting into your palm, the GXT1051S take up little real estate, and we appreciated that while using them for climbing commands and trekking far where bulkier radios would have been a pain. Transmission distance is about middle of the pack, with diminishing quality at around the 3-mile mark in our torture test, and 4 miles in our best-case scenario. The smaller overall antenna likely plays a role here, so don't plan on a booming transmission range. For closer communications, however, we found little fault with these radios and they provided good clarity throughout. These walkies are dual-fuel, taking both standard AAA cells as well as the included 700 mAh rechargeable battery packs. We appreciated that the radios can be charged on both the included bases, as well as through a micro USB port on the side of the units. Slick. While overall battery life won't be the most impressive, these are the smallest radios in our testing. We could squeeze out a full day of use. At $50 for a set of 2, the GXT1051 FLT supports a number of features that even more expensive radios leave off, such as NOAA weather tuning, on-device USB charging, and voice activation, VOX. For the money, it's tough to do much better than this. Number 2. Cobra ACXT1035R FLT. While a handful of other walkies in our lineup are waterproof, it's tough to do better than the Cobra ACXT1035R FLT, $120, before jumping up to a full-on marine VHF radio. This unit is not only IP67 waterproof, but adds on water-savvy functionality such as a burp feature that can clear water from the speaker grill if the handheld does go in the drink, and it floats. About the highest-end walkie-talkie from Cobra, these handhelds get the full suite of tech, including a tri-watch, monitors 3 separate channels at once, NOAA weather frequencies, and a unique rewind say again function that replays the transmission you most recently received. Pretty slick, if you ask us. We used the Cobras to scout a desert canyoneering run in Joshua Tree, where water immersion was mandatory, and they performed excellently. The integrated LED light even came in clutch for fiddling with an anchor deep in the canyon. The $120 entry fee is a bit much compared to the rest of our recommended walkies, but when you consider that you get 2 radios for the price, these Cobra radios are downright affordable. Our only other quibble is that the radio is a bit chunky in the hand, which is likely due to ensuring it's buoyant enough to float. Thankfully, the weight doesn't track, and these walkies are fairly light. If you're paddling more whitewater than blue, the Walkie-Talkie 5W radio may be more up your alley. Our creek freaks were all over these radios for scouting heavy water, and praised their bungee tethers and alligator clips for the rough stuff. But for a lightweight option that floats and sports water-savvy functionality, the ACXT1035R FLT is where it's at. Number 3. Baofeng BF-F8HP. Fair warning, the Baofeng BF-F8HP, $65, has no easy learning curve, nor is it a radio that can be used without becoming an amateur radio operator. But for those who want to open up a whole different universe of ability for outdoors comms, this is the radio to step up to. As an amateur radio, an FCC license is the only way to legally operate this radio, but the advanced ability the BF-F8HP offers up is well worth it. At 8W of max output, this radio far and away outperformed every other walkie-talkie in our testing, and that's only in radio-to-radio, or simplex, mode. Because these radios can access repeater towers, ground-based antennas that amplify your signal, your range can instead be measured in hundreds of miles. Menu navigation isn't as streamlined as other amateur radios such as ICOM or Yaesu, and some second-party companies even sell laminated cheat sheets to get you through the labyrinth. It usually takes our senior radio nut about a day of using this radio again before it all comes back. Baofeng does sell a programming cord for use with this radio, and we highly recommend purchasing that with your handheld for far easier setup. Technically a dual-band radio, the BF-F8HP operates on both the VHF and UHF frequencies, as well as tossing in an AM/FM radio receiver. The dirty secret with these radios is that while they can operate on the FRS frequencies, they aren't FCC certified as such, and we can't recommend that you use them that way. But used correctly, you could even communicate worldwide with these radios and the right know-how. Know that battery life at the full tilt 8W output won't last as long as the lower power outputs, 1 and 5 watts. So meter your usage to just enough to get your signal out. Number 4. Midland GXT67 Pro. The Midland GXT67 Pro, $200, is undeniably the top of the heap from the brand, and is a GMRS radio that finally adds repeater capabilities to take full advantage of those 5 watts of power. The unit is also tough. On our first foray with it, we dunked it in a river for 10 minutes before keying up. No issues. Our main issue with another of Midland's GMRS radios, the GXT1000, is that it doesn't allow you to use repeaters, but we can confirm that the GXT67 makes full use of the ability. Using the local repeater closest to our lead tester, we could get our signal in at 4 miles away, and then heard another 10 miles from there. Impressive! Besides the unlocked capabilities, the GXT67 also just looks like a more rugged radio. An IP67 rating means full immersion is fair play, and after attaching a tether to the radio, we used it during a whitewater kayaking trip to coordinate our run. The user interface on this radio is also better than pretty much any other we've used in the field, with a broad screen that even has 7 different screen colors to toggle through, and simple menus. The GXT67 also makes a decent trail rig radio, though not the best. Unfortunately, the antenna isn't removable, meaning you can't run a remote antenna to the roof of your off-road or overland vehicle. Compared side by side with the Walkie-Talkie 5W, the Rocky had better reception when used with its optional whip antenna. The GXT67 doesn't snag our top spot for a GMRS for a few reasons. For one, the non-removable antenna and battery keep it from being as versatile as a GMRS radio can be, and we appreciated the functionality of both on the Walkie-Talkie 5W. The overall size is also larger than the Rocky radio, and the clunky belt clip keeps us from using this radio much during activities where it might come free. Even still, we think that the GXT67 Pro is the best handheld radio that Midland has made so far. The 2,500 mAh battery is one of the biggest we've tested, which helps excuse the non-replaceable nature, and reception is clear and crisp, including into repeaters. For a solid GMRS radio, it's tough to do better. Number 5. Motorola Talkabout T803. The Motorola Talkabout T803, $149, is a solid option for off-grid communication, especially if you're looking for more than just basic two-way radio functionality. The T803 pairs with your smartphone via Bluetooth and the Motorola Talkabout app, transforming it into a messaging and location sharing tool for your crew. This feature opens up new possibilities for communication in the backcountry, though it does require some setup and a bit of patience to get everything running smoothly. When we got it working, we were able to send our locations, accurate to 10 feet, in both directions. In field tests, the T803 performed well in the backcountry, providing clear communication and reliable app functionality when away from city interference. However, the app struggled in urban environments, especially around power lines, where messages often failed to send, and the battery life diminished quickly with Bluetooth enabled. While the device's performance in clear, open areas was strong, it's less reliable in more congested environments, making it less ideal for use in crowded events or job sites. This isn't to say the radio doesn't excel as a walkie-talkie, however, and its unobstructed transmission range placed right up with the top performers. The T803's lightweight design, ease of use, and USB-C charging make it a convenient choice, but the app's inconsistencies and the relatively short battery life are drawbacks to consider. Overall, the Talkabout T803 is a good addition to a backcountry kit for those who value extra features like location sharing and messaging, but it's not something you should rely on entirely in critical situations.